Barrie, Ontario's seemingly endless supply of large detached houses looks like the suburban dream. But if you can't afford that house, where do you live? Let's ask Patricia Kozicka. She is a freelance journalist looking into how Barrie is trying to address this problem. Nice to have you here, Patricia.
Thank you so much for having me,
Well,
Steve.
lots of people obviously outside the GTA and outside Barrie don't know much about this place. So let's just get the basic 411 on Barrie before we get into this.
Sure. I must admit, I was one of those people. I managed to take a trip up to Barrie myself. It's about an hour north of Toronto if you're lucky not to hit any traffic.
That's right,
which I'm told is not usually the case. Yeah. And it's a 2-hour commute roughly one way, and there are a lot of commuters making the trek back and forth each day. And it is the gateway to cottage country. There are a lot of outdoor options all year round, everything from your hiking, there are plenty of trails in and around the city, fishing, tree top trekking, dog sledding, pretty much everything a young family would want.
And
a lot of options.
Growing.
Very fast growing. Mm-hmm. In size, it's actually increased 560% over the last 40 years. Huh. So it went from a small city of, around 24 square kilometers in 1971 to 155 in 2011. And it's even been growing further since because Barrie's annexing land from nearby Innisfil. And population-wise, there are a lot of people coming up from Toronto. So just between the last two census, between 2011 and 2016, there have been 21,500 people making the move up to Barrie.
Presumably for more affordable housing.
And work, actually.
And work too.
That's the other big thing that I've noticed.
Gotcha. We should also say it's the hometown of Patrick Brown, who is the leader of Her Majesty's loyal and official opposition.
And very scenic, I must say. It's very scenic waterfront, cute downtown. I saw a lot of restaurants that I would want to check out. I'm told traffic isn't nearly as bad as it is in Toronto, of course. The people in Barrie might disagree. For them, it is considerable. But it was really enjoyable, and I could see the draw, just kind of having an objective look at it. I can see why so many families would like to choose Barrie to settle there.
But why did you want to write about it?
Well, I was approached to look at the suburban communities that have really rapidly grown in the last little while. And I was given Barrie as one option, as well as Milton and Brampton. But as soon as I started looking into the numbers, Barrie just popped right off the page because the numbers were something that I have never seen before and wasn't actually expecting to see for Barrie specifically.
Well, let's share some of the numbers here, shall we? Go ahead. Sheldon, let's put this graphic up, because if you want to rent a place in Barrie, the vacancy rate is pretty low. The average vacancy rate, 2.7%. There's your average rent at $1,155. If you want to go to a one-bedroom, it's even a smaller vacancy rate, a little over $1,000. 2 bedrooms, 3.4% vacancy at a little over $1,200 for the average rent. 3 bedrooms plus, forget about it. 0.5% for the vacancy rate, $1,400 plus. The CMHC, Canada Mortgage and Housing, says that Barrie is the most expensive rental market in Ontario outside of the city of Toronto. How did that happen?
A lot of reasons. It's pretty shocking, a pretty shocking statistic. And it wasn't even CMHC, but there was a recent report in December from PadMapper. It's basically an online rental site where people list their apartments for rent. And they named Barrie the most expensive market after Vancouver and Toronto.
In the whole country?
For rental, yes. Huh. So it's just mind-blowing in that sense. And there's a lot of factors going into it. We touched on the population growth a little bit. It was 5.6% between the last census, because some people are moving out of Toronto, or out of Barrie, as it's becoming a little bit less affordable for them. But in addition to the population growth, we're seeing just a huge lack of inventory. This was originally a small city that wasn't prepared for this level of growth. And the city is desperately trying to catch up. But for the past 30 years, the developers in Barrie have been focusing more on luxury condos, for instance. And the waterfront is lined with beautiful, tall condo buildings. But as the mayor pointed out, they're wonderful places to live, but not very affordable.
Well, we just checked the rental market. Let's talk about if you want to buy a house in Barrie, what are your prospects right now?
Grim.
No kidding.
Yes, it is not a good situation, especially for first-time home buyers in Barrie. A lot of them are being forced to look outside the city limits. And even then, they're being outbid in a lot of situations. Over the past year, there were record low inventory numbers. there was, I believe it was 25% less sales in 2017. The numbers just came out compared to the year before, and the prices were 20% higher. So not a great situation. I spoke with one real estate broker who actually recalled at the beginning of last year selling a home for $200,000 above asking price and fielding 18 multiple offers for that. And to put that into perspective, multiple offers, bidding wars, that's not something that Barrie realtors are very familiar with.
No, it's a
that's
Toronto
something
thing.
that, exactly, we see in Toronto all the time. But in Barrie, that's very rare. The realtor I spoke to has been practicing for 17 years there, had never seen anything like it. People were just shocked.
Well, let's find out. You did talk to the mayor, Jeff Lehman,
Yes.
and who's I think widely regarded as one of the sharper young mayors in Canadian politics today. Yeah. Does City Hall kind of acknowledge that there's a problem here in terms of getting supply going, and what are they planning to do about it?
Definitely. I did speak to Mayor Lehman. He is an economist by trade, so I feel that has helped him kind of jump into action on this. He's been a mayor about for 10 years there, and he is doing a lot, I must say. He is first to admit that Barrie does have an affordability crisis. Those are his words, and he has been doing a number of things. For instance, he's been reaching out to those developers who have been drawn to more of those luxury condos because they are able to get more return on that investment, and speaking to them to find out how can we incentivize for you to build affordable housing units, because that is what his city desperately needs, and he recognizes that need. But in addition to that, Barrie is approaching the 3-year mark for the affordable housing strategy that they have put out themselves with the help of the province. And as part of that, they have a quota of just over 800 affordable housing units that they would like to create by 2024. And they are well on their way towards meeting that target. Yeah, I must say, just even a little bit above time-wise. And, annexed land from Innisfil is going to help. The city has earmarked 4 acres out of 400. So it may not seem like a huge amount, but that will result in 300 affordable housing units. And as part of that affordable housing strategy, they've also set a rule that 10% of any new housing that's built must be affordable. So that's one big thing. They also hosted a housing hackathon in the fall, which I thought was quite innovative.
That's a new term for me. Housing hackathon?
Yes.
What does that
so
mean?
Basically, teams get together for 48 hours, the brightest minds, kind of the tech experts of the area, and they try to come up with the best solution for the housing crisis in Barrie. And the 2 winning teams actually came up with ideas for apps, because there's always an app for that. And the winning idea was actually a way for prospective first-time home buyers to make it a little bit easier for them to qualify. And actually, when they were doing their research, they found that the average income in Barrie was $77,000, but the income needed to actually afford an average home in Barrie was $93,600. So through their app, which is essentially incorporating things like second suites, solar panels, basically additional revenue streams in order to bump up your income. And they're talking right now to lenders in order for lenders to incorporate these alternate revenue streams. And by way of this app, somebody would just have to have an income of $52,800 to qualify for that same average
Make it easier to get into the market.
Yes, and there would be more rental units on the market as a result as well.
Gotcha. Well, it's really interesting to see how this formerly small city is now experiencing big city problems. Patricia, we thank you for coming in and sharing what you know about this. That's Patricia Kozicka, freelance journalist, all about Barrie. Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you, Steve.
The Agenda with Steve Bacon is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.